Okay, I've got another exciting VoxyAI demo for you. This one will be around scripting. I wanted to give you a real example of how scripting can help anyone with their device. And what I'm going to do is I have this really big developer folder, and most of my projects have .env files, which contain secrets, passwords, API tokens, database connection strings. They all live in GitHub, but the thing is, all of those things are get ignored. So they're not; those things are not in GitHub. I keep all of my Git projects in this developer folder because I don't want them backed up to iCloud. And the reason why is if you have a big Git history in a project, it really messes up the iCloud backup. So I keep all of my GitHub stuff separate. Now that's great until I buy a new Mac. And what I almost always do, because I always forget about it, is I restore my iCloud backups to the new Mac, and that's good. The GitHub projects I just pull down, I get clone whatever I want, that's fine too. However, after I erase the old Mac, I always forget that there were .env files, and I always lose. So you know what? Let's have a script that goes through all of these folders, finds the .env files, and backs those up. It'll copy them to a location in the documents directory. And my iCloud backup, I'm actually very confident in the security of my iCloud backup. And also, these secrets really aren't like that special, anyways. So it'll be okay, even if they were leaked. But they won't be leaked. It's actually fine. So I'm going to go ahead and use Mistral for this as my LLM, and I'm going to ask Voxy help to create a script. Create a script. I'm going to call this env backup. Now I'm just going to copy and paste what I want. I'll read it out to make sure it makes sense. This script searches every directory recursively, starting from developer. I'm going to say, just to be really clear, developer folder, and copies the contents of any file named .env to a file in user's documents directory in a env backup folder. If documents env backup directory does not exist, create it. The files in the env backup should be named after the directory where the env is found, starting after developer. For example, if the env file is located at users me developer android project.env, the file path to Android, the copied contents will be users me documents env android. We need to have project here as well. Okay, that looks like what I want. So I'm going to hit next. Now I have added target OS because as I've been testing with these scripting languages, if you want to do OS specific things and you don't actually tell the LLM that you're targeting an OS, it'll create a very generic script that will not work. So in this case, I'm going to use Ruby, and we're going to target Mac OS. I'm going to put it in the scripts folder. Which is an empty folder I have here on the desktop. Okay, script name, env backup, language Ruby, target OS, Mac OS. This is the path. You can always switch your LLM, but I'll stick with Mistral for this. We'll create the script. It will also create a README. Okay, 10 seconds. I'm going to open it with Sublime Text. Let's create the whole folder. And what I want to do, the reason why I wanted to use Sublime Text is I'm going to actually copy this code or select it. And I'm going to actually get some help understanding what it does from VoxyAI. Explain this code. And now it's using the LLM to understand what this block of code is doing. So we get a good description here. This code is a Ruby script that backs up all .env files in users developer directory to a backup folder in their documents directory. It's a handy tool for keeping track of environment files which often contain important configuration settings. Okay, that sounds correct. It goes through and it describes how it works, the key concepts and patterns, and I think always the most important thing, this potential improvements section, which I think is good. I'm going to ignore that for now, but I actually really appreciate this part of it. What I like about this, I'm not going to actually show in the demo, but this app, including the speech recognition, is set to work on, I think, 34 or 35 languages worldwide. So if you were in, let's say, if you were in Spain and you asked in Spanish to explain this code, the LLM is actually going to return its explanation in Spanish. So it doesn't matter where you're at; it's going to be like very helpful to you. Okay, great. So we have this. Let's actually run it. We'll see what happens. It should be executable already. Okay, so it's done something. I'm going to look in my documents directory. We now have an env backup, and it looks like only 5 of my projects actually have env files. It actually probably is correct because most of my, I don't keep everything local. Okay, if I look at hello name, I actually created a dummy env. And yeah, secret, this is my big secret. So now these secrets are now backed up. So if I buy a new Mac, I can not worry about forgetting passwords and secrets. So hope you found that useful.